Hi National Review fans, I'm Ericka Andersen coming to you live from the National Review Institute Idea Summit, and I'm standing here with Carly Fiorina. Thank you so much for joining us, Carly.
It's great to be with you. Hi,
so Carly's going to be speaking later tonight, but we want to ask her a couple questions before she goes on. Carly, we know obviously last year you ran for president. You've been busy since then. What has been your message since running for president? What have you been out there doing, and will you ever consider running for office again?
Well, you know, one of the things I believe deeply in and talked a lot about as a candidate is citizen government. The fact that citizens need to and have the capacity to solve many of the problems that impact us, that we, in a way, leave too much up to politicians.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been talking a lot about leadership and citizenship and what those things mean, and how all of us need to be engaged, whether we're running for office or holding elected office or not. And I'll continue to stay engaged.
Now, if you were in office now, what are some of the priorities that you would be putting forth? And do you agree with some of the things that President Trump has been making a priority?
So I certainly agree with many of the things that President Trump is making a priority. One of the things that I think is absolutely essential is we get control of the federal government.
Right.
I think we have too much power and too much money concentrated in the hands of too few people. And so what I talked about as a candidate and what I want to see out of the Trump administration is not a concentration of power, but a dispersal of power back into states and communities and families and businesses where it belongs, and a dispersal of money as well.
Now, I wanted to get your take on the Women's March and the hashtag Day Without a Woman recently. I know there's a lot to say on that, but in a quick synopsis, like what was your take on all of that and kind of this liberal women's uprising that we've seen since President Trump has been elected?
Well, when you launch a major protest the day after an inauguration, you're obviously not protesting anything other than your candidate lost.
Right.
And so that was a little disappointing. I mean, of course they have a right to protest, but what are they protesting exactly, other than they don't like who won? Okay, fine, but let's not dress it up and call it some great feminist thing. It's not. They're just upset with President Trump instead of President Clinton. A day without a woman, I think, honestly, a lot of women can't afford to take off.
Right, right.
And so I think it was fairly self-indulgent in many ways. And as I used to say all the time and continue to say, feminism isn't about telling women what to believe. Because I'm pro-life, my candidacy was called an offense to women by a lot of women's groups. So I think it's more about believing a certain thing to those women who are marching, as opposed to empowering all women and every woman to live according to her beliefs.
Right, and as I'm sure you know, the pro-life group was kicked out of being a
right.
sponsor of the Women's March.
Yeah, you're not welcome here because you don't agree with what we think.
Right, and I saw the founders on an interview, and they were like, "Oh, all women are welcome," and of course, that action made us believe that's not true.
Well, all women who agreed with them were welcome.
Exactly. So, last question for tonight is, where do you see the future of conservatism in an era of Trump?
Well, you know, I think one of the things that's really important is that we remember who we are and what we believe. We believe that every life has value, that every person has value and potential, regardless of their circumstances or their appearance or their opinions, frankly. We believe that people have the capacity to make their lives better and to solve the problems that impact them. And we believe that power concentrated is power abused. So we have to remember those principles and hold true to those principles and ask others to embrace those principles, whether it's other citizens or others in the administration.
All right, thank you so much. Carly Fiorina, everybody. I hope you'll join us for more interviews over the weekend, and follow us on Twitter. Thanks.
Thank you.